Talk about a powerful legal shield that's meant to protect free speech. All right, let's talk about a powerful legal shield that's meant to protect free speech. But, every shield has a weak spot, a critical flaw that can make the whole thing just shatter. We're going to find out what that is.
It sounds like a bit of a riddle, doesn't it? Can you be silenced by a lawsuit that never legally existed? But it's a very, very real legal question. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how a legal case can be erased. Poof, like it never even happened. And what's really wild is that when it vanishes, it takes any special protections along with it. So, first things first, we need to get to know the main character in our story, which is a type of law known as anti-SLAPP. Now, you should really think of these laws as a shield. They're built for people who are speaking out on important public issues. It's to make sure they don't get buried under a mountain of legal bills by some powerful opponent who's just trying to shut them down with a totally bogus lawsuit. It's a defense against being silenced. But here's the thing. Like any shield, this one isn't made of vibranium. It's not invincible. It has limits. And the biggest one? It only protects activity that's actually, legal and legitimate. And the rules here are crystal clear. The law basically says, look, if the legal action itself is illegitimate, if it's fraudulent, if it's an abuse of the system, or if it's filed in a court that has absolutely no authority to hear it, then that shield offers zero protection. No. And this right here, this gets to the very heart of it. You just can't misuse the courts, do something unlawful, and then try to hide behind a law that was made to protect lawful speech. It's a shield for legitimate participation, not for abusing the process. So this brings us to that Achilles heel I mentioned. It's this idea of a void proceeding. A case becomes void if the court never had the basic fundamental authority to even hear it. That authority is called jurisdiction. And without it, everything that happens, every motion, every ruling, is, in the eyes of the law, a complete nullity. It's like it never happened. Okay, so let's stop talking in hypotheticals and look at a real-world legal motion from the case of Coley versus Carter. This is where we can see how this whole concept of a legal void actually plays out. The argument in this motion is just fascinating. It basically says, hey, you can't claim anti-SLAPP protection for being part of a lawsuit that was legally a ghost. Think about it. If the case never truly existed, how can any rights or protections be born from it? You can't build something on top of nothing. And just look at this timeline. It's kind of staggering, right? For more than 5 years, the court system itself, through judge after judge, kept saying, we have no authority to act here. This wasn't just some one-off mistake. This was a deep, foundational, persistent problem with the case. And here's where it all started. Right from the very beginning, the judge puts it on the record, plain as day. This isn't someone looking back years later and interpreting things. This is the court, right then and there, saying it lacked the fundamental power to even hear the case. And then you get this, a truly stunning moment. This is the defendant's own lawyer admitting it, in open court. You can see right here in the transcript. Everyone knew that without jurisdiction, the court was powerless. It's not every day you see total agreement on such a fatal flaw. And the chorus just kept going. It wasn't one judge, it was judge after judge over and over again, all confirming the same exact problem. And that repetition is so important because it shows this wasn't just one party's claim. It was a recognized fact of the case for years. Okay, so what's the big picture here? What does all this mean for how the legal system is even supposed to work? Let's break down the basic principle at stake. It really all boils down to this simple but absolutely critical difference. Lawful petitioning happens in a court that actually has the authority to be there. A void proceeding doesn't. Any decision made without jurisdiction? Well, it's like a football referee running onto a baseball field and trying to call strike 3. He's in the wrong stadium, using the wrong rules, and his call is totally, completely meaningless. And that's the whole ballgame. The entire argument hangs on this one simple, logical point. It's like a tree with no roots. It can't grow, it can't produce fruit. If the original lawsuit never legally existed, then no rights, no immunities, and no shields can ever spring out of it. This one sentence from the legal filings just sums it all up perfectly. If the foundation is rotten, or in this case, if the foundation was never even there to begin with, the whole house built on top of it, including any claim to legal immunity, just collapses. It has absolutely nothing to stand on. And that brings us to our final thought. A case like this really forces us to look closer at the very bedrock of our legal system. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
What other shields, what other rights and rules, all depend on this fundamental idea of a court's legitimate authority, an idea we usually just assume is always there?